Welcome back. We've got player 8231. What a number. And we issue the good luck. Starting off with 4456. Very good, we get the 15. Let's see. 7-2. Let's hold back on a 6. Alright, so let's see. 15, 13 with the dealer. This one I feel like we normally keep 2, 3, 5 and a queen, but let's mix it up a little bit. Let's put 2, 3 away. Leads an 8. Kind of scary, but maybe it's a good time to offload the 5. 5s need to be offloaded. They can be quite dangerous. Well, we've seen 1, 6 already, so I'll get rid of my 9. Yeah, that's the problem, is they have 9s. Maybe we should play the queen there. Just because the 5 doesn't do anything with their hand. Well, they may have 4 points with the 5, so tricky. What's going on here? We will go 3-10 or 3-3. Yeah, why not 3-3? Oh, look at that. Double run, 16 points. We're going to get tripled. We don't mind. Don't mind at all. There we go. Why didn't we really mind giving away some points there? It's because make it to 44. Their opponent is not really catching up very fast. Okay, we hit the 2. 2 is really nice there. And here we want to offload small cards. Give you a chance to play a 5. Good. Okay, and what's this? This is a flush. If there wasn't a flush here, I think this would be quite a challenge. Might come back to this one, but keep the flush, and we extend the flush. Really nice. We'll leave 3. We threw away a 3, so there are a few 3s here. We'll go up to 18. If they double it, then that would be a bit of, and then we won't have the 8. So they've shown us Jack 10. We've got Queen. There's a Jack on top. Pretty scary. Hopefully it's just a 5, but no. Well, 5 and Queen, they're both worth the same. There is 16 points. So 77, 75. Okay, we're still doing very well. We can throw away this 7, 10. Oh, okay. 7 comes up on top. My opponent leads 7. What's all this about? no option but to go 2 really. And go 2 again because they have 6s, they've got 8s. 4. Oh, this really feels like they have a 6 here. Well, they could have, wow, 3s. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 7 for 9 points. 91, 85. We're looking to get to 96 until we hit this hand. Oh dear. Well, we'll go 10 king. Alright, and we hit the 2. Huge. Very big. Alright, they had 3. Kind of rare, but you got 3, 2, and probably 2 10s. We get 10 points. There's a 3, 3, 2 in our hand. Gives 3, 3, 2, 7. And here, we're not really that desperate, so we'll just go Jack, Jack. If we were desperate for a 10, then we would throw away 2, 8. So it leaves 16 points open, and we would have hit it as well. Incredible. 5, 6. We play the 9 there because we expect not to be able to. We expect to go again, playing the 2, so we want to make 31. Okay, opponent's on 115, so they're, with a good play, they will get there. Oh, but we need points. We need 5 points here. Would like to keep the 3, 6, 9, but I need points. Need 1 point on the play. Let's get it. We got that point. Now, if they've got 7 here, which is something they could definitely play into. Alright, and we're safe. And that is a good game. Pretty close one, but we make it. We had very good position all the way throughout, so not too much to comment on there. They managed to get a few points off us on the play, and they had slightly better hands. We just had bigger cribs. And I think we started as dealer as well, so this is one of those textbook starting as dealer and maintaining that advantage game. Let's dive into a bit of analysis. There's one hand that I wanted to have a look at. One of the hands I wanted to have a look at was this one quite early on. It was this 2, 3, 5, 9, 10 queen hand. We're at 15 as the dealer against 13. So clearly we actually started as pawn, and we got quite a good, of course, we got quite a good starting hand as pawn. We got 4, 4, 5, 6, which set us up really, really well for the rest of the game. Now, I mentioned that there's 2 things that I'm looking at here. I'm looking about the discarding 2, 3. Keep the 5, 9, 10 queen. 5, 9, 10 queen. And the reason for that is because while it's good to put 5s in the crib, putting 2, 3 in the crib is extremely good. So if you think about the combinations that you could put in, so for instance, let's say you put 5, 9 in the crib. That's not going to be worth as much as putting 2, 3 in the crib, because we're going to make so many more runs with the 2, 3. We're going to hit all of the 10s. It's just such, it's one of my favorite things to throw away. Unless you're throwing away points, 2, 3 is really good. But having said that, 5, 9 is also an option here. And one thing we should think about is, some of the playing potential. So to me, it seems like so playing potential, we want to have as many options as possible open for the play. And if we want to have that, then one thing we could do is we could throw away 5 queen. We undouble the 10s in a sense, so we don't have 2 10s in hand. That will give us 2, 3, 9, 10. This is going to sacrifice a few points over some of the other discards, but could be quite nice. What would be the problem cards for us to face in that situation? Well, 8 is quite an annoying lead. We don't really want to have to play a 9 or a 10 on the 8. We could then go 3, 8, 3, and if they went 4 for 15, we have the 2 for a run. But when opponents go 8, 4 at the beginning, we do expect them to have quite a few 3s there. 8, 4, 3. That makes 15. Oh, sorry. 8, 3, 4. That makes, we don't have any 4s ourselves, of course. And then if we want, we could go 2 for the run of 3. But then the point that I want to make is that their 8, 4 probably leads them to having a lot of 3s themselves, so they'll get a run of 3. 8, 3, 4, we're now on 20, and now we have to jump up. Maybe we'll go 10, because the last card might be something along the lines of another 8, 3, 4. They don't have so many extra 3s. They could have a lot of 4s, but there's also the possibility they have 2 as well. So I want to say the main cards here to look out for are 8, 4, 2, 3. And so we get an extra 2 points for goes, because we get a go here, which is 1 point, and then we'll go whatever card they have left, because they can't, unless they have an ace, which is actually not particularly strong. The only way it gets made strong is if a 2, say, comes up on top. So, and we'll reevaluate when we get there. And so in this situation, what are the overall scores? Overall, our opponent got 5 points, and we got 3, 4, 5 points ourselves. Is that a good trade? It's a good trade. We started as pawn, and as pawn, I like to think in my head, you want to sow a bit of chaos at the beginning of the game. You want to get a lot of points quickly if you can to try and get good position. Our opponent really would prefer to play a bit safer than that, so perhaps our opponent wouldn't go into these kinds of complications if they could avoid it. In fact, this line might be nonsense. Let's have a look again. We might come to this point, and we might say, does our opponent really have 3s here? Wouldn't our opponent much rather go 8, 3, 3. Get the pair for 2 points. Now you definitely do this if you had a hand like 8, 3, 3, 4, because you'd love to see the triple. The triple 3 gets you, you can then get the quad 3. So actually, this is... Yeah, so if we imagine that our hand was something like 8, 2, 3, 4, we'd be quite happy to play the... Well, then we have to question the lead of an 8. When do you really lead 8? Now, you should always lead a range of cards. You want to balance your leading range a little bit, but how often would such a hand really lead the 8? I think the answer is actually it's going to be led quite a lot of the time, because leading 8 from 8, 2, 3, 4 it's actually quite a nice play. You don't have a 7 to go to lead 4s. Your opponent can really just double you. That's probably not one of the hands you want to include in your single 4 lead range. Okay. Anyway, that's a big topic, and I'll probably get into another time your lead range. So let's say that this happens some of the time. I think against very strong opponents, you expect them to lead an 8, but you don't expect them to play a 4 here holding a 3 up, and that sort of that means that in this situation, 8, 3, 4, 2, our opponent's probably holding quite a bad hand, or they're holding 5. They could be holding 5, 6. And if they're holding 5, 6, perhaps they... Well, what happens here? We get 3 points. So they get 2 points for 15. They get 4 points for this long run, up to 22. We play the 9 for 31. 9 for 31, that's 2 points. They go 6, 10, we get 1 point for finishing. So in total we get 6 points, and our opponent gets 6 points. Now, 6 points apiece. One thing you have to also wonder in this situation is how is this a very common hand? 8, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6 is a very common thing for our opponent to have, but is there any situation in which keeping an 8 would actually be the thing that you do? For instance, let's say your hand is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Is there a world in which you would discard 7, 10? I don't think so. You always discard 8, 10. I can't think of a card that would be worse to have than an 8 with your 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I think that this 4, 5, 6, 8 is quite a rare hand here. And so what does this lead us to? What's the conclusion? What were we trying to do? We were trying to find a way to navigate through the most difficult plays that after we discard 5 queen, and we found that the hardest plays really occur when our opponent has quite well. We looked at one of them, which is if they lead an 8. We could also think about if they lead a 7, but in that case we can go 7 and then play the 10. That seems very reasonable. If our opponent leads a jack, then we'd quite happily go 2 there, because we've got a 2-card magic 11, so that makes the hand quite playable. So what do I want to get onto? Let's have a look at what the computer says about this hand. Okay, so let's put some numbers to what we're looking at. It's our own crib. What do we see? And let's get some columns. Let's get some decimal places. So this computer really likes hand plus crib. Crib average 6.82, which is very high considering we're not putting any points there. That's what we expect. Hand is also very reasonable. We leave open long runs if we hit a jack. I guess that's quite nice. We're not playing as pawn, so we don't really mind about playability so much. Having 5, 10 queen is okay. Second up is 5, 10, 5 queen. This is probably what you would expect. On average, 2, 3 is getting a whole extra point. Do we get a whole extra point on the play? No. It's very rare for a discard, for 2 different hands to really make a whole point of play difference on average on the play. So 2, 3 is looking pretty good. Now, the best hand we could keep, yes, is 9, 10. And especially if you're starting out, then 9, 10 is, I think, quite an easy one to do, because you can think that you're keeping 2, 3, 5, 10, which is quite a nice combo, and you're throwing away 9, 10, which is connected. So you've got some ways for your hand to improve in the crib. Although, because you're not putting any 5s away, that's why your crib average is very low here compared to the top three options. So can we justify why 5 queen is worth more points in hand than 5 9 is worth more points in hand than 5 queen? Well, the simple answer is we keep more points in hand. However, we start off with 4 points instead of 2 points. So that means that to begin with, our hand is 2 point different. But then when we turn over the top card, we expect to improve by a few more points. But the hand where we discard 5 queens, so 2, 3, 9, 10, you can see that improves by more than the other hand, by the top card. And that should make sense, because we can hit 8s, we can hit jacks. Okay. Whereas with our discard of 5, 9, the only way to get to hit something quite big would be to hit a jack. And so the difference the cards that really make the difference are the 8s. Any other discards that we would want to consider? I don't think so. 2, 3, 5, 9, 5 queen, 9, 10. The top 4 discards are the ones that we would always consider, and they each have their own merits. I think 9, 10 is very, very reasonable if you want to keep things simple. It doesn't make that many points in the crib, but sometimes when it does, it makes some pretty big points. If you get lucky with one of your opponent's discards and the top card, you could get a double run. That definitely happens. Yeah, 2-3 has, I guess, the highest variance in the crib, but 2.94 variance is still quite low in the scheme of things. Well, it's actually quite close to 3. I think the top end of variance or standard deviations is around 4. Anyway, I think that this hand we understand. There was one more hand I want to quickly have a look at. And that's this hand. This is the 3-3-5-8-8 king hand. Our score is doing very well with 67 versus 53, and we're playing as pawn, so we're about to score some points and put ourselves over 70, so nothing to worry about. However, I'd quite like to know what would happen. And in this situation, we had a very clear flush in hand. We had 3-5-8 king, which keeps quite a lot of points and also keeps good playability. It means that if our opponent hits a 4 on top, or if our opponent hits a 4, then it's actually fine for us as well. Similarly with 8s and 3s, but mostly the 4 is what we'd worry about coming up on top of the deck. So the question is, what would we do if we didn't have this flush? Will we still go 3-8? Or would we do something different? Or would we go 8 king maybe? Or would we bite the bullet and toss double 3 or double 8? A very hard decision. I think that in this situation, because I am so far ahead, I might just toss the most safe option, which would be 8 king. The other option would be to just play sort of disregarding our opponent, just getting maximum points and trying to get carried by our good averages. We could discard 8-8. It's a little bit reckless. I think throwing 8-8 in the crib could start opening up some comebacks from our opponent. So I think we'd go 8 king there without a flush. Let's have a look and put some numbers to it. So let's have a quick look first at the one we actually played. Keeping the flush is really a no-brainer. The only thing is, if we wanted to make the crib smaller, we could throw away the 8 king. Now let's do something strange. Let's give ourselves the 5 of diamonds. So there's no flushes in hand. And now, yes. The computer is suggesting that we should prioritize making the crib as small as possible and discarding one of the 8 kings. It says, of course, the unsuited ace king. And then it goes to 3 king afterwards, the unsuited 3 king. And then if we wanted to keep a lot of points in hand, we could discard 8-8. And the reason why that's keeping a lot of points in hand is because we can hit 4s and 2s and 7s. All things that combo with the double 3-5. Well, 2s combo with double 3-10, but the others 4s and 7s combo with the double 3-5. And this is what we would sort of expect. But just to put concrete numbers, we're really losing. So from going 8, so by discarding 8-8, we're giving ourselves about 6.78 in hand. And then discarding 8 king gives us about 5.13. So we're losing about 1.5 points. But then the crib is over 2 points better. And that's because, so not only is 8-8 a pair, it also combos. So the 2 point difference, so if there was exactly a 2 point difference, then we would say that both 8-8 and 8 king have the same combo potential in the crib. But because they're more than 2 points difference, that means that 8 king is really is making fewer combos than the 8-8. And why is that? It's mostly because our opponent's going to throw away connected cards near the 8 or semi-connected cards. So for an opponent that throws 7-9 or 6-7, then they're going to make a lot of points. However, the king is very king 8 is very inert, and inert pairs don't really combo with things fully. So a hand that it's very hard to combo both the 8 and the king in some way. Okay, I think that's all I really wanted to look at here. Nothing too surprising. I think we played very solid, and I will see you in the next episode.